What's up, guys? This is yours truly, Empress Chad C. Wormington, aka All That Chaz, aka Lupus Slayer. I really need you guys to please pay attention to what I am about to tell you all. This is a system that has been designed to keep people in debt and cripple people for the longest of time. And every time you turn around, they're finding new ways to do this. And we have to make our voices be heard. And we have to stand up to our political leaders, our state and local government leaders, and our nation leaders, and let them know we are not going to continue on being preyed upon by these corporations and by these big companies and industries and even our government, because they feel they have the upper hand and that they can do that, and we have to be subjected to whatever treatment they give to us. Right now, I'm a bit emotional about this, so if I break down and cry, it's not because I'm being overly sensitive or anything, but I just didn't like how they tried to prey on my mom just now. Okay, so I went and I just paid two very expensive decade old medical bills for my mom. What ended up happening is during the time that my mom accrued these bills, um, the military was paying for her health, and they were supposed to cover everything according to their own documentation. So for whatever reason, there was this balance that was left that she was supposed to pay out of pocket. Okay, my thing is, when someone say you get a bill, they supposed to bill you, right? Because it's been over a decade ago, not sure if she was billed or not billed. But this is the part that got to me more than anything. You wait till 2 decades later. It's 2020. 2 decades later, the statute of limitation in the state of Georgia for medical debt is 4 years. So they wait 2 decades later to now want to collect this alleged debt that she supposedly had. Now, this is the part about this that I didn't like, and that just rubbed me the wrong way more than anything, is that we need to ban against these collection agencies that companies are allowed to hire and to collect debts for them. And the reason why is because a lot of times they don't follow policy, they don't follow protocol, their own policies and protocol. I've never seen any bills come in from this particular collection agency. And anybody who knows me know that me and my mom, we always have lived together. I don't care. My mom's going to live with me. I'm going to take care of her. So if anybody going to have a problem with that, too bad. Or she going to have a house right next to us or down the street or something. But as far as her being way across country or something like that away from me, I'm not going to do that, because I have to make sure that she's taken care of properly. And I don't ever recall seeing any, especially this particular collection agency, at any case, I don't even know who these people are. It's not asking my mom. I'm asking her, have you heard of this company? Okay, so we haven't seen any collection agency bills. Not to my knowledge, not to her knowledge. All of a sudden, she get a call yesterday from the advocacy of DeKalb Medical Hospital, stating that if she didn't pay a certain amount within 48 hours, that she was going to be taken. They told her that the hospital, they didn't say the collection agency. See, that's what I was trying to explain to the idiot that I was talking to, who happens to be a supervisor, and I don't know how he got that position when he doesn't even listen and can't comprehend what someone's stating. The person clearly stated the hospital, not the collection agency, said that the hospital is going to take her to court to sue her for the balance. Okay, so you guys call, but nobody can send a letter. Nobody is writing. Nobody is sending any documentations. stated this is how much it's owed and this is what you okay. What you guys going to get? She's on a fixed income, you know, and you can't even actually put a lien on that unless it's a federal or state government issue. So what are you guys going to do? You can't put a lien on somebody SSI when it's not state or federal issues. You can on their pensions, on their retirements, but you can't do it for money that is given to them by the federal government in the state. So it's like if somebody's not able to pay something, they're not able to pay it. But the thing about it is, you all never let her know that she had this amount of time. And you all never even sent a letter prior to this to state, okay, if a payment is not made or we have not heard from you in X minus Z days, then we're going to be forced to take legal actions. There's nothing like that ever came up. Nothing. I've never seen anything come. I asked her. She was like, no, nothing has came. So this so-called advocacy collection agent, now that's another thing too they're using. Watch out for that word. They don't really use collection agency no more. They use advocates. So y'all be careful with those little acronyms and nouns and pronouns that they're using now. Advocacy, not collection agency. To collect this alleged debt. And first and foremost, even if this is the other part that got to me more than anything, and I just really want you all to try to hear me, because right now my mind is racing and I'm really trying to process this information to spill it out to you all, where you all understand and see that it is predatorial. It's not that she owed a debt, but it's that they're preying on people who may have medical bills that they owe, which a lot of people do, because in the United States we don't have free health insurance, even though the Constitution says that we're supposed to. I'm serious. People read your amendments, know the Constitution. We are supposed to have fair and affordable health care. We do not have that in America. Okay, we do not. No, even if you're working, you're still struggling, because you think about it. In order to have affordable health care, you have to be almost a billionaire, because you can go in for one procedure, it'd be $10,000. If you only making $20,000, $30,000 a year, you're going to be in debt. Even if you're making $40,000 a year, that's $10,000. They're not going to give you the $40,000 at one lump sum. You don't make $40,000 in one lump sum. If you're getting paid annually, if that's your annually salary, you're going to get it in small lump sums, right? You're going to get small sums. You're going to get a check every other week, or once a month, or however, but you're not getting that one lump sum at one time. So you have to I want you all to understand, you got to break that down. $10,000 out of $40,000 is a lot of money, because you're not getting it in one lump sum. You have to pay this over a period of time, and because you're getting that $40,000 over a period of time, not in one lump sum. So even if it's you have to have a lot of money, in other words, for you to afford health care, is what I'm saying in essence. But if collection agencies are allowed to I'm trying to get my words right, man. I'm trying to make this video kids friendly. I've really been trying to work on that, make my material children friendly, because children have parents that go through stuff too, and they may want to listen and watch. So I'm trying to keep it child friendly. So y'all state leaders, our government leaders, local, state, we got to get on their asses. We just have to get on their asses, because collection agencies should not be allowed to harass people and collect debt on the behalf of a company when the company can do it themselves. They can have a department that handles that. As a matter of fact, they do. All hospitals, medical is to have a legal department. They have their own legal team that does things for them, that works with them, that provides for them, legal consultation and stuff for them in the event they face a lawsuit. So it's not like they don't have a legal team that they can use to collect whatever quote unquote debt that's owed. But what it is, hospitals have gotten lazy and they don't want to deal with people anymore, because remember, it's not about people getting healed, it's about money. Everything is about money. We got to really truthfully understand that it is all about money. It is never about your health or whatever and this, that, and the other. Even though you do have some people that works in the medical industry that are very compassionate and they are really genuinely concerned about your money, but behind them, people who are over them and the big head honchos or CEOs, COOs, CFOs, executives, senior executives, their presidents and stuff, they're not concerned about your health. They don't care. They don't care if you live or die. They just want to make money off of you, because as long as they can make money off of you, they can continue on living a lavish lifestyles. They can continue to go and play golf while their employees and those under them sitting up here working and struggling, 8, 12, 16 plus hour shifts just to barely even make it. And some of them are on public assistance, even though they're working those many hours and they still need help. So that just shows you that, there's a great imbalance with the way the system operates, but that's how it was set and designed. So here it is, 2 decades later, and this collection agency, I'm going to call it what it is. They call it advocacy. It's a collection agency. Representative calls my mom, threatening that the hospital is going to sue her if she did not pay this certain amount within 48 hours. Okay. I was like, who's this advocacy person? Like advocacy, like when did hospitals have advocacy? I said, I know they have collection agency, but the advocacy, like for therapists or something, they do have advocacies, but I never known for them to have advocacies to collect bills, quote unquote back bills. So of course I called to find out what's going on. I spoke with a condescending, ignorant, who think he educated but is very ignorant director person over the billing department at the facility. He's very uneducated. He obviously don't understand the law or know how it works, because if he did, he will understand that what they're doing is completely illegal. Now, he gave me an amount of a bill. This is the amount. It's up there. And he's like, but this is what they're settling for, and you pay this amount, and it's zero. Her balance gets clean. Let's go to zero. Okay, cool. I'm like, that's really strange. And I told them about how they were inadequate, how they didn't even find out what was going on with her. He even mentioned why she even came to the hospital. I told him some of the information, the reason why. You never tell them everything in detail, because you need them to read back stuff to you, because you want to make sure that they know what is going on, know why the person came to the hospital. They know, it's kind of like you don't put all your eggs in one basket per se. So he was reading things off to me that I didn't even mention to him that I knew were true, because it's even on her paperwork, of course, too. But long story short, it was malpractice. Absolute 100% per malpractice. Not once, but twice. Malpractice. My mom had to end up going back. I had to take her about 30 to 40 miles away to a different ER And in that ER, they were able to clearly find out what was going on with her. She didn't have to have no specialist or nothing like that. She didn't have to see no private doctor. They were able to pick it up in the emergency room that she had a tumor on her brain. And my sister flew my mom out to Texas, and she had the surgery done on a military hospital. Okay, that was still in 2010. Why now 2020 you guys are threatening, making these kind of threats? Oh, well, Emory Hospital actually bought out DeKalb Medical, and this is Emory. They're collecting that. They're going through patients, going through accounts, and any patient that had any outstanding debts, they collecting on those debts right now, and this, that, and the other. It still is past the statute of limitation. Emory bought out DeKalb Medical 2015. It's 2020. The state of limitation in the state of Georgia is 4 years. So, and still, Emory didn't send her any letters. Emory didn't send her a bill. She's the only bill that my mom had received from Emory is the recent bill that she just received from them, is for the surgery that she recently had for the surgery of ovarian cancer. She has not received a single bill from them. Any other bill. So you guys don't send no bills out. But magically, people are supposed to know that there's a bill out there that exists that they're supposed to be paying or had paid. But nobody's sending out bills. Emory haven't communicated with her. Haven't said, okay, we got this collection agency, we're going to put this collection agency out. What they do, they just sent this collection agency, they just gave her account over to this collection agency, and she didn't have no idea. She didn't know anything. We're on the phone, and we're just learning stuff like, wow, like, what the hell? They came to find out there was a second account. So, that first account, that we thought, I was like, okay, let's just pay it, get it done. Oh, I'll pay it for you, no worries. We call to pay it. Lo and behold, we find out there's a alleged second account. From guess what? Yes, 2010. From 2010. It's 2020. Still, no collection letters came in saying that you owe this amount. No letter from Emory. No bills from Emory saying this is how much you owe. Failure to pay this amount can result to your account being handed over to a collection agency and blah, blah, blah. None of this. No information. Not even a letter from DeKalb Medical saying that, okay, the DeKalb Medical has been bought by Emory University Hospital as of date such, and any patient that has any occurring date, any occurring or any current and present bills owed will be subjected to pay these bills through Emory, through collections or whatever. I mean, no kind of communication at all. Nobody telling my mom anything. No kind of communication at all. None. They're not telling her nothing. But here it is 20 years later. 10 years later, I'm sorry. Wait a minute. Yeah, 10 years. I kept saying 20 years because I'm thinking about it couldn't have been 20 years because 20 years would be what, 2001? Yeah, so I'm sorry, guys. 10 years, a decade later, not 2 decades, a decade later. Right? 10, 20. I'm sorry. I told you guys, my mind right now, I'm so full, I can't even process like I need to. So I'm sorry about saying the 2 decades. It's been 1 decade. 20 is 2020. So still, that's what I'm thinking about, is the fact that in between that time, 5 years, there's still the statute of limitation has expired to collect a medical debt. So this is what we all need to do. This is what these institutions and these companies do to keep you in debt. what they have opted to do is go through a collection agencies, because now, since the bill has been turned to collection agency, now they have a certain time frame that they have to collect this debt from you. And if they don't, if not on our behalf, then if not, then this collection agency can take you to court on our behalf to get the monies, and sue you in court. Mm-mm. Predatorial business practice. That's what it is. It's predatorial business practices. And we need to stand up and go to your state senators, go to your House of Representatives in your state, go to your legislators, your commissioners, right, your governors. I mean, like, when I tell you to bombard the hell out of them about these predatorial practices that they allow in their states and in their local government, in the cities and stuff, and in the counties, to treat their residents, it's not acceptable. It really isn't acceptable. It's completely unacceptable. So Emory buys out DeKalb Medical. Excuse me. They see, oh, okay, she owes this much. This bill is still outstanding. They don't send her a letter. They don't let her know anything. It's been 5 years. All of a sudden, she just get a call. Oh, you have 48 hours to pay this debt, or we're going to sue you. What about my notice? 60-day, 30-day, 90 days notice to let me know about this situation. I don't understand. Collection agency, I never received a notice. You guys have not wrote me or told me anything. First and foremost, hospitals, what they do to prolong, to try to get around the law, the statute of limitation. Hospitals only have 4 years to collect any balance due, out-of-pocket balances due. So what they do to try to get around that is they'll send you 3 notices, and then they'll turn it over to a collection agency, because hospitals, they normally would be like, okay, 4 years, all right. Some hospitals would stretch it out to 3 years before 2 to 3 years before they turn it over to collection agencies, and some won't. So what ended up happening is that actual 4 years end up turning into 8 years, and then that 8 years turns into 12 years, and they extend it out because they'll sell, or they'll keep passing your account around from this agency, that agency, this collection agency, that collection agency, until one of those collection agencies decided, I'm not going to pass it around, I'm just going to take this person to court and sue them. But at the same time, most times, those collection agencies won't even communicate with the person that supposedly owed this debt, so that they can have time to dispute the debt, or what have you. Because first and foremost, DeKalb Medical did straight up malpractice on my mom. Malpractice. She went back, because after she took the medication and stuff for what was going on, she was still having the issues. I sent her back because I'm like, they didn't do something right. Go back, make them do what they're supposed to do. They still didn't get it right. Had to take her. I took her, I think it was that same day, because she was really, it was something really going on with her. And that's when it really dawned on me that something is very seriously wrong with her. I wish I would have caught on to it much earlier, but I'm grateful to God that we were able to get her to the right facilities and get answers so that she can get that issue resolved, because she would have been, I don't know, that it could have killed her. She could have had an aneurysm, a stroke, a heart attack. I mean, she could have died from the tumor on her brain, because it was never ever, DeKalb Medical didn't detect it. Even though they did a CT scan, they did all of that. They scanned her head and all of that. How you guys not see a tumor? Which I'm going to get a copy of her records. Yeah, because I believe they saw it. Just like with the ovarian cancer that she had, the cervical ovarian cancer she had, it was there. The Cal Medical saw it and never told her about it. It wasn't until she started going to Emory that they told her. When Emory brought them out, that's how she found out. So the Cal Medical has a pattern of misdiagnosing people, not properly diagnosing people, not diagnosing them at all when they have serious issues. So that's going to be 3 medical malpractice lawsuits against the Cal Medical. Since they want to act like that, we're going to do the same thing. Y'all want to be an ass, we're going to be an ass too. Because you guys are doing some foul stuff. But this is how the systematic, the systematic way of keeping people in debt and putting people in debt. So right now, me literally had to clean out my checkings account and my reserve account to pay this alleged debt that they claimed that my mom owed, to keep them from trying to take her to court and sue her and pursue a lawsuit against her, because it would have probably been more expensive. But people, and another thing I want you all to understand too, this is something I really want you all to pay very close attention to as well. That's why it's so important for you to understand the law and know how it works. Knowing the law is one thing, but knowing how it works is something, it's a totally different bracket. That's why you got people who are 100% guilty of murder get off, be acquitted, because of the way the law works. So, what I was about to say. The entrapment of the way the law is to keep you in debt. I want you all to really pay attention to this. When you look at the statute of limitation that they give us to pay our debt, this is how long you have to pay this debt. This is the statute of limitation. They would not extend nothing for us. It is cut and dry. This is what it is. You violate it, you don't do it, then you're in trouble. They don't give us no leeway. We don't have, if we can't go to a collection agency and be like, okay, here's my debt, collection agency, extend this out. Instead, we don't have no outlet. Oh, well, here you go, credit bureaus, I owe this debt, but don't put it on my credit report because I'm struggling, and I'm also paying back student loans, or I'm a single parent and I paying all my bills by myself, or I used to be able to work, I got too sick to work, and so now all my bills got behind and accruing. Oh, I was in domestic violence relationship or marriage, and I'm starting back over, so these debts have accrued. Oh, I don't make enough money, because I live below poverty level, even though I work 10, 12 plus hours a day, and I'm still not able to get my head above water. They don't give a damn about that. We don't have no outlet for that, right? And I'm not talking about people who are just negligent that just go create bills and just let them ride. No, I'm talking about people who are really in dire straits situation, on fixed income, the elderly, senior citizens, handicapped people with disabilities, people who going through really financial hardship and struggling economically and trying to go to school to get a better job so that they can earn more income. But by the time they finish going to school, guess what? The cost of living goes up because it takes so long for you to go to school to get a freaking college degree, which is stupid that it takes 3-4 plus years just to earn a college degree. Why? A lot of the stuff that they tell you, you can learn it in a year, because there are certain things that they have in those curriculums and courses and activities of of the program that you going to school for, that has nothing to do with it at all, with what you're studying or your major. It's just for them a way, again, another systematic way for them to collect money from you and put you in debt. And we got to learn to stand against that mess. We have to stop allowing these companies and these institutions to prey on us, and we can stop it. We have the voice to stop it, because they are taking advantage, and we are sitting up here struggling, and we're losing money, paying ass and bukus of money that we should not be paying out because of the systematic predatorial business practices and business institutions and rules and regulations that companies are allowed to set up, and our governments, local and federal and nation, national, will allow these companies to do it, and we just sit back and we take it. No, we need to be able to have an outlet too. And we don't have one. We don't. It's like we're completely vulnerable, and we're preyed upon. So we have to band together and eliminate these collection agencies, because they're trifling as hell. They're trifling. And hospitals or institutions or whatever that turns our accounts over to, these collection agencies are just as trifling and dirty to even put us in that situation, knowing how they operate. They know how they operate. That's why they turn them over to them. Turn our, any accounts that we have, any delinquent account that we have, over to them. But the thing about it is, if a person don't know they have a delinquent account, how are you going to hold them accountable for it? You don't communicate with them. You haven't sent them out bills. You haven't sent no collection agents sending out no bills, telling them about no bills. If you send it out, I don't know, the post office must have always put it in the wrong mailbox, because we haven't received any. And the bottom line is, these bills, these accounts that had accumulated, they accumulated out of medical malpractice. And see, if we have to be subjected to a statute of limitation, and we can extend that statute of limitation, because you think about it, even in court, the court of law, if someone raped they've extended that now. It was a bill that had to be passed for that, but there's still certain things. They finally stopped doing the limitation with the murder, because remember, they used to have a statute of limitation for murder. If somebody murders someone, if they're not caught within a certain time frame, then they just get out scot-free. They can't take them to court again and all of this stuff. Excuse me, or take them to court, period, if you never found them in the first place. Where they lifted that restriction. So why is it that restrictions are not lifted off of us for having to be able to sue for medical malpractice, to be able to sue for predatory business practices? Why we are still subjected to statutes of limitations when these companies aren't? When companies are allowed to have an outlet to go around the statutes of limitations that are set in these states and in the nation. They have a system and a way to go around about that. But we, as the citizens, do not have that same protection. Why? Because it's predatorial. It's systematic predatorial business practices. And these people are vultures. All they want is money, 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 greed. Money, the love of money, is literally the root of all evil, because this is exactly what happens. And we just have to take a stand against it. I don't know what other way to say it to you all, and I'm still just right now, my mind is so full, and I'm still so very emotional and upset about this. I'm really hoping and praying that my health will permit me, that I will get well enough where my health will permit me to run for a Georgia State Senator seat, and that I am actually voted, that I actually win and get and land a seat in the state Senate of the state of Georgia. I would love to be able to do it on a national level too one day, but I start off right here in the state of Georgia, because these kind of laws should not be allowed and should not exist in our state, where companies can prey upon the residents and the citizens of Georgia. It's not fair. It's not right. And so I'm so grateful. Man, my gratitude to the universe right now I'm just so grateful that the universe allowed me and graced me to have what was needed to be paid. And I don't care if it exhausted my financial resources and reserve account and checkings account. I just didn't want my mom to go through anything that she didn't have to go through because of these predatorial business practices that the state of Georgia allows to exist. And I'm just very full right now. And I'm doing everything I can to hold back my tears because I'm livid. And these are not tears of sadness. I'm angry right now because I'm just thinking about how they was willing to take someone at her age to court over this amount of monies that they claimed that she owed but never sent her a bill for. Y'all said no collection agencies been calling and sending no bills or anything. Like, are you kidding me? No emails. And then you guys call her and only give her 48 hours, business hours to pay this debt that you guys claim that she owes, that resulted in medical malpractice, that we have so much solid concrete proof that it is medical malpractice. I'm just livid right now. And that's probably why I don't even know. I'm going to have to listen to this video because I don't even know how my words came out. I don't know how it was sounding. I don't even know if I was making any kind of sense. I don't know if I was being rational. I'm hoping that I was. And I hope that I convey my message because I'm not saying in no means. So I don't want nobody to get this misunderstood and misconstrued or twisted. I'm not saying by any means that a person who has any kind of that has an outstanding debt or have a debt, owes bills, owe money, owe a bill should not pay it. That's not what I'm saying, especially if they actually owe the bill. But what I'm saying is if a bill has been created under false pretenses, a person should not be forced to pay that bill. And these bills have been created under false pretenses, which is called medical malpractice. And we have solid proof of it. And not only that, but they didn't even have the common decency to try to reach out to my mom to let her know this is a debt that we're trying to collect. This is what is owed. Even the medical institution, the Cal Medical, they didn't have the common courtesy to send a letter to let my mom know, oh, as of date, blah, 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 2015, Emory University Hospital has bought out all of the Cal Medical institution and medical hospitals, whatever. And they now have your debt. If there's any current debts or bills that was due, like, do some kind of communication. They don't communicate with you, but then they turn around and they do this to you. You see what I'm saying? And my thing is, when you this is what I would say. This doesn't just start with our institution. This mainly starts with our government. Our government need to stop allowing these medical facilities to prey on people. They need to stop allowing these collection agencies to prey on people. They have to stop not allowing us to have the proper medical and health coverage and dental coverage that we are supposed to have as citizens. That's the point of us paying federal taxes. I don't understand why is it that when we pay federal taxes that the bulk of our federal taxes is not used, or I won't even say the bulk, but enough is used where we could go as citizens to any medical institution or doctor or hospital, whatever, to our choice, that we could select, be selective, and not have to always, even if we get health insurance, it still shouldn't be where nobody should have a balance. I put it that way. Nobody should never ever have a balance of what they owe, because we should already be covered and protected, because we pay, even in the state, we pay state taxes with everything. Look at your utility bills. Every utility bill you're paying state tax. Look at your gas. Every time you get gas, you're paying both states and federal and local taxes. You pay all three of them, okay? Not only that, you got when you pay your car, you pay property tax every year. As long as you have your car in your home, you got to pay property taxes. That goes to the state. That's state taxes. They're always taxing us, tax. But what are you guys giving us in return? They're not giving us anything in return. We're not getting anything in return. We're struggling, people. We're struggling just to have our basic mandatory necessities: shelter, food, water, clothes, personal hygiene items, oral hygiene items, our basic necessities, utilities. And because the way the economy is and the way society is now, it has become mandatory to have internet and to have a good, laptop or desktop and mobile device. You have to have these things now because they created it. And that's what I'm saying. The government constantly create things, and then they just want to be like, okay, I don't care how it affects them, and if they just gonna have to manage and make it work. That's how they do us. But they're not just managing and making it work because they're able to afford it comfortably. They get full coverage. They have the best health care, okay? The best. All right? They go to prestigious hospitals, upscale hospitals, and prestigious doctors and specialists. But what about us? And we're the one that's paying these taxes. But we can't get that same privilege. We can't get that same treatment. Even though we're the ones that's paying the money for you all as government officials to afford it. To afford those kind of insurance and stuff. And not even that. It all depends on your position as in the state government, because there are state representatives here in the state of Georgia that are receiving some type of state funding. And I know a lot of people be like, it used to be where you couldn't, but sometimes depending on the position, people can. I hate when people always try to say, oh, well, women need to control their fertilities, guys need to control their fertilities, people need to control their fertilities. Let me tell you, when you get married or you get in a relationship with someone and you've been in a relationship a long term and you guys have a child together, you don't be expecting for the relationship to fall apart. You don't be expecting that person to become abusive or to go out and cheat or to start doing reckless things and cause friction in a relationship. I'm not talking about the ones that just have reconcilable differences because they quote unquote outgrew each other, or we don't outgrew love for each other on that level. I'm not talking about that foolishness. I'm talking about people who are in situations that are beyond their control. They become in situations and have circumstances that's far beyond their control because of the fact that they find themselves in situations like that, and now they're forced to depend on state, to help them, not because they're negligent. Like, I was in a car accident, messed me up. I was sick as a dog. I went through domestic abuse and stuff, and I had to leave and just run away. I've been homeless and everything. There's been situations that happened to me that was beyond my control, where I had no choice but to depend on public assistance. I didn't want to, but I had to. I don't have any public assistance. I haven't had any public assistance in about 3 years now at all. Like Medicaid, Medicare, nothing. I don't get nothing. I don't even get Medicaid. And I'm supposed to be getting Medicaid according to the Constitution because of my health condition. And I have been declined. I do not get Medicaid at all. I don't get nothing. So anytime I go to the doctor or whenever I have to go to the doctor, I have to pay all of that money up front. So whatever my bill is, I have to chop that up out of pocket. And they tax that. But we don't, what I'm saying is the government has placed us in a systematic bondage of debt and to be preyed upon by them and by these companies that they allow to come in and prey upon us, both in our state, local governments, and our national government levels. And we have to put a stop to it because it's not right. We're supposed to be covered. We're supposed to have protection, and we're not getting that protection at all by our government. We're not. So now gonna have to, and remember, just please keep in mind, they don't give us an outlet and for statute of limitations. They put statute of limitations on us to protect these companies, because a lot of these companies, they're either owned by or invested by these politicians, some of these prestigious politicians and stuff. Look at Bill Gates. This man creating vaccines and medicines and stuff like that, and administering medicines to people, and he's not even a damn doctor. He don't have no kind of doctorate degree. He never went to school for medicine or anything. He's not no certified board medical personnel that is licensed and permitted to administer medicine, give medicine, and all of this stuff. Yeah, you got and then you got people in the House of the Senate of the USA that has patents on medications like Corona. So guys, knowledge is power. Don't let them continue to prey on us like this, all right? Thank you guys for watching. God bless, one love, peace. This is been Empress Chai C. Wormington.